Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast. Do you dread hearing the question, what's for dinner? Whether you spend your days keeping up with toddlers, running kids to after-school activities, or juggling a career and family, getting dinner on the table can be a struggle for us all. I'm Mariefiebach, a business owner, wife, and mom of 4. I'm on a mission to build stronger families one dinner at a time, and I'm here with tips, tricks, and inspiration you need to feed your family tonight. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast, episode 133. Today, we are talking about 4 ways to give yourself a break in the kitchen. Last week was all about my experience with eating out and what I thought about eating out. As a child, again, I didn't grow up eating out very often, so it wasn't part of my routine. And I talked about how I get a break from cooking every week because my mother has us over for family dinner. So I can count on one night a week where I don't have to cook. Now, I know most families don't have that. So as we go through our 4 reasons today, none of them is go over to your mom's for dinner. Although that is how I get my kitchen break on a regular basis, and it's a really important part of our week. This first reason that we have might seem really obvious, but it's go out to dinner or get takeout as a family. It's the obvious choice, and it's the way most families get a break from cooking. But I have a couple of ways that you can maximize your break when you choose to eat out. The first thing is that you want to plan for it. Put it on your meal plan for the week that you are going to go out to eat on Friday night, or that you're going to get takeout on Tuesday. Put it on your meal plan. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first reason is that it frees you from that guilt that you have. How many times have you ended up eating out dinner because you get to the end of the day and you're kind of toast and you really just don't feel like cooking, and you're like, I should make that stir fry, but I am just going to choose to get takeout instead. And you feel like you failed as a mom or failed as a kitchen cook because you chose at the last minute to get takeout rather than make the thing that you already planned. Free yourself of that guilt and put it on your plan. Years ago, we took our children on a very special vacation. I had saved up all of my earnings for over a year to be able to pay for this special trip. We made the choice to tell our children long ahead of time where we were going, help them choose some of the things that we would be doing when we were going on this vacation. And the anticipation of the joy of the vacation was almost as important as actually going on the vacation itself. There are lots of people that will talk about this, that thinking about and planning a vacation can be just as much of the joy of the experience, the anticipation and looking forward to it, as the actual experience itself. And I really feel like with eating out, that is really, really true. So if you put it on your meal plan at the beginning of the week, you have it to look forward to all week long, and it kind of helps you get through the times where you really don't feel like being in the kitchen. It also builds some anticipation for you, and it frees you of that guilt that plans changed and you failed because you didn't follow your meal plan. I am never going to say that you have failed because you did not follow your meal plan. I have said many times that my meal plan changes usually once a week, and there is no shame in that game. It is okay for your meal plan to change. It is there to serve you, and you don't have to be glued to your meal plan. But when you put a break, such as eating out, on your meal plan, it is going to help you get through the week, and it's going to give you something to look forward to. So if you are using eating out as your way to give yourself a kitchen break, put it on your meal plan, plan for it, experience the joy of looking forward to it. While we're talking about eating out, I want to talk a little bit about takeout in particular. Going through the drive-through line with several children in the minivan with different preferences can be a really stressful experience. You have one kid that wants their hamburger with ketchup and no pickles, and the other kid that wants mayo and pickles only. And you're trying to piece that all together, which kid has what drink and who has fries and who has apple slices. And it can be really stressful. Have you been there? Trying to get a whole family order in the takeout can be a very stressful thing. So what I encourage you to do is, if you are doing takeout, to write down everybody's order before you leave your house. Or if you're out and about and you're catching takeout on your way home from some type of an event or something, stop in the parking lot, ask everybody what they want, and then write it down on a sticky note or an index card or any piece of paper you can find in your minivan or your SUV. That way, when you get up to the ordering dock, you know exactly what you're ordering, and it takes all of that stress, and you don't have kids yelling from the back of the minivan, "I don't want pickles." And then they end up with pickles and they hate you for life. Ask me how I know. Bonus, if you can write the order down before you leave the house and leave the kids with an older sibling or your spouse so that you don't have to take them with you and you can get a few minutes all to yourself. Play your favorite music. Play the Feed Your Family Tonight podcast on the way in the car, or just have a few moments of peace and quiet. The whole experience is so much easier, and you get an even bigger break if you are the one to go to the store rather than your spouse, and you pick it up because you get a few minutes to yourself. So be strategic in your use of takeout. Write down those orders before you leave. And then if you can, go by yourself to get the takeout and bring it home. Even better, take everybody to the park and eat at the park so that the mess doesn't ever come in your house. You can use it as your way to do a picnic by getting takeout so that you don't have to cook, you don't have to plan the picnic, and then it turns dinner into an activity for your children. I did this a lot when my kids were little, especially in the summer where we needed to fill our days more because there were less activities. And having takeout as a picnic was one technique that I used to really give myself a break and maximize the use of the takeout. Option number 2, to give yourself a break from cooking, is to use frozen foods. Now, technically, you're reheating food, but it isn't the same as cooking. And that may be enough of a break for you to clear your head and help you kind of get back into the groove of feeding your family, just giving you enough of a break that you don't have to do the main part of the cooking. All you have to do is dump a bag of Trader Joe's orange chicken onto a pan and heat it up. Trader Joe's is the perfect destination for family frozen foods. They have lots of family-sized pre-made foods that all you have to do is reheat. Two of our family's favorites is the orange chicken, which basically it's like deep fried chicken, or the pot stickers. My family really likes their chicken pot stickers. They have chicken and pork and shrimp and all sorts of different kinds. It's a great place to go and get family-sized frozen foods. My dear friend Diane always has a Stouffer's lasagna in her freezer. And that is kind of her cooking break often, is she doesn't have to think about making the entree. She can just pull that Stouffer's lasagna out of the freezer, put it in the oven, and an hour later, dinner is served. Again, getting a break from the kitchen may not mean that you aren't in the kitchen at all, but not having to actually physically do most of the cooking and most of the preparation by using quality frozen foods can be a great way to give yourself a break in the kitchen. One more little word on frozen foods is they can be really great backup meals. When you have days where the wheels fall off and your plans really do fall apart, and we all have days like that. A bag of frozen pot stickers or a bag of frozen orange chicken or whatever your favorite frozen convenience food is. A frozen pizza is a great example that you can just quickly put in the oven in 20 minutes. It's done. They can be really great backup meals, but it's okay to put them on your plan as a planned meal. They don't have to just be reserved for backup meals. You can plan to use these frozen foods as a way of giving yourself a kitchen break. The third way of giving yourself a break from the kitchen might be a little controversial because some of the best parts of not cooking is not planning and not having to deal with a messy kitchen. But if you have a spouse or an older kid in the house that is capable of fixing dinner, maybe that is a way to give yourself a break in the kitchen. Is your hubby really good at grilling chicken breasts and they can grill chicken breasts for dinner? Or maybe you've got a kid that thinks they're going to be the next chopped champion and they love to be creative in the kitchen and they can fix dinner for you. If you choose to use this technique of having someone else in your family cook dinner for your break from the kitchen, it needs to be very clear what you expect from them. I have 4 things that you want to clarify before you have someone else in your family cook to be your break in the kitchen. The first thing is, who plans the meal? Are you planning the meal or are they planning the meal? The second is, close to it, who is going to buy the ingredients? Are you going to plan the meal with them? Are they going to plan it? Do you have to go to the grocery store? Are they going to make a special trip to the grocery store? The third thing is, what time does your family need to eat on that night? If you delegate cooking to your 12-year-old semi-chef and they take 2.5 hours to make dinner and all of a sudden it's 8 o'clock and everybody's hangry and cranky because they were being creative in the kitchen, that is not giving you a break. So it needs to be very clear with whoever's cooking what time dinner needs to be ready and they need to plan accordingly. And fourth, and this is the most important clarification that you need to make if someone is cooking for you so that you get a break, is who is going to clean up and what does cleanup really mean? My kids will think that taking all of the dishes off the stove and putting them in the sink and leaving them there to soak, quote unquote, is cleaning up the dishes. I don't think cleaned up is cleaned up unless all of the dishes are done, the kitchen sink is empty, anything that needs to be hand washed is hand washed, and everything is dried and put away. That is what cleaned up means to me. So you need to be very clear with your expectations of what cleanup means, because otherwise it's not a break for you and you'll be stressed out. I remember years ago, I had a friend who brought me dinner after I'd had surgery. And I said, "Oh, I'm capable of cooking." And she goes, "Marie, the gift of this is that you don't have to plan it. You don't have to go to the store and buy it, and you can focus on resting and recovery. I know you are physically capable of cooking, but I want to give you the gift of not having to think about dinner, not having to plan it, not having to go to the grocery store, and not having to do all of the dishes. So when someone else cooks for you, make sure you take that planning piece into account and make sure that you really are getting a break so that you don't feel resentful." The fourth way to give yourself a break from cooking is use your grocery deli. This is a great way to get a less expensive takeout dinner, especially if you're on a tighter budget. Our family really likes the fried chicken from our local grocery store. We also like the Chinese takeout from our local grocery store. And both of those options, when you are feeding a family of 6, is much less expensive than going to Popeyes or Kentucky Fried Chicken to get chicken, or going to our local Chinese takeout to get Chinese food for our family. The deli at our grocery store, sure, it's more expensive than buying food and fixing it myself, but it's much less expensive than doing takeout. Same with the rotisserie chicken. Can you make your own chicken and roast it from scratch? Absolutely. Will it taste delicious? If you follow my method, it totally will. But if you know that you don't feel like cooking, grab that rotisserie chicken. Use that for dinner or use that to quickly make some quesadillas. But the deli at your local grocery store can be a great way to give yourself a break from cooking. Often, I'm at the grocery store anyway, so I will grab a bag of salad along with a 16 or 8 piece of fried chicken, bring it home. We've got the salad. We throw it in some bowls, or even better, now is the time to use some paper plates. I'm trying to give myself a break from the kitchen, so I'll pull out the paper plates every now and then. It's not something I like to do all the time, but on occasion, it's okay to pull out the paper plates. My friend Liz, she was having a really, really busy week. She was having dance recitals and all sorts of practices and rehearsals. And she showed me a picture on her Instagram of her pulling out her eco-friendly paper plates. And she goes, sometimes you just need to pull out the paper plates. And I'm like, yes, Liz, when you are up to your eyeballs and you're having a busy week, that is the time to give yourself a little bit of a break and pull out the paper plates. So if you're getting deli chicken and you're getting a bag salad and calling that dinner, that is a great way to use the paper plates and give yourself just a little bit of a break from the kitchen. This fifth tip is kind of a bonus tip because it's not unlike the freezer food where you technically are cooking. If the thing that burdens you with getting dinner on the table is planning what to make and going to the grocery store and getting the ingredients, then using something like a meal delivery kit like HelloFresh, Blue Apron, there's 100 of them out there. It doesn't really matter which one you use. That can be a great way to give yourself a break. And using a meal delivery service like that gives you something else. It kind of sparks your creativity. Oftentimes those meals, they're very simple, but they use flavors that you don't usually make in your home. And it can be a good way to get some new inspiration for some new ideas and some new flavors and some new recipes in your home. I've known people that have gotten HelloFresh and then they'll just keep the recipe cards and they will go and buy the ingredients over and over again to make the recipes that they made with HelloFresh. And they used it as a way to kind of spark their creativity when they were finding themselves getting in a dinner rut. So this, again, you are cooking when you're using these meal kit delivery services, but it does give you a mental break from planning and it can spark your creativity, which will help you in the future in the kitchen. Friends, I said last week, and I will stand by this statement, is that every mom needs a break at least one day a week in the kitchen. There are lots of ways that you can get this break. I've given you 4 today, but I know there are other ways that you can get breaks from cooking in the kitchen. Will you join me in the Feed Your Family Tonight Facebook group and share one of your favorite ways of getting a break from cooking in the kitchen? I can't wait to hear what other people are doing to give themselves a little bit of a break. For now, friends, I hope you have a great week. Take care.